Have you ever wondered what people who seem to move through life with unshakable confidence and purpose have in common, while others struggle to find their way? High-value men, those independent and deeply introspective individuals, possess a unique instinct for identifying behaviors and attitudes that others might overlook. In this video, we'll explore the 8 red flags that high-value men never ignore, uncovering signals that could be sabotaging your relationships and personal growth without you even realizing it. These men not only detect these signs, but also act swiftly to protect their peace and purpose. Do you want to know what they do differently and how you can apply these lessons to your own life? Stay with us, because understanding these red flags will not only help you avoid common mistakes, but also surround yourself with people who truly add value to your life. 1. Lack of authenticity. For a high-value man, authenticity is non-negotiable. These individuals deeply value honesty and have a finely tuned instinct for detecting insincerity. When someone tries to project an image that doesn't align with their true self, whether to impress or manipulate, a high-value man notices immediately. They're not looking for perfection in others, but they do demand sincerity, as they believe trust and respect can only be built through authenticity. Let's consider a practical example. Imagine someone who constantly exaggerates their achievements or skills in a casual conversation. While others might overlook this behavior, a high-value man sees it as a red flag, not because they don't appreciate effort or ambition, but because they know that exaggeration often hides insecurity or manipulation. High-value men prefer to interact with people who admit their mistakes and limitations with humility, because those are the individuals who truly inspire. In daily life, being authentic means aligning your words with your actions. High-value men greatly respect those who live by their principles, even if it means going against the grain. If you want to earn the respect of a high-value man, a good tip is to practice small acts of authenticity, like saying "I don't know" when you don't have an answer, or being honest about your intentions. For them, there's no braver gesture than showing who you truly are, without masks. 2. Constant need for attention. For a high-value man, emotional independence is essential in any relationship, be it friendship, work, or romance. People who constantly seek to be the center of attention tend to make them uncomfortable because they value peace and balance. They're not interested in competing for validation or surrounding themselves with individuals who always need to be seen or recognized. For a high-value man, harmony in an interaction is far more valuable than any kind of display. Imagine a social gathering where someone monopolizes all the conversations, interrupting others to talk about their achievements or problems. A high-value man quickly detects this behavior, and while they won't confront it directly, they will avoid getting too close to this type of person. For them, meaningful relationships are not built on noise or grandeur, but on the quality of interactions where both parties feel heard and respected. A practical example of what a high-value man appreciates would be a balanced conversation, where both people can share and learn from each other. If you find yourself interacting with someone like this, try to be mindful of how you manage your need for validation. Instead of constantly seeking attention, practice the art of listening and genuinely adding value. High-value men respect those who aren't afraid to let their actions speak louder than their words. 3. Manipulative behavior. A high-value man has a deep sense of independence, both emotionally and mentally, which is why they reject any form of manipulation. For them, relationships must be based on respect and freedom, not attempts at control or hidden agendas. Any action aimed at coercing them or playing with their emotions instantly becomes a warning sign that pushes them away. An example of manipulation could be a colleague who uses guilt to get someone to do them a favor, or a partner who employs silence as punishment to get something in return. High-value men don't tolerate this type of behavior because they value their mental peace above any toxic dynamic. If they sense someone trying to manipulate their perceptions or emotions, they won't hesitate to set firm boundaries or cut ties altogether, to avoid falling into manipulation, or even to identify if you unconsciously use it yourself. It's helpful to reflect on your intentions. For instance, instead of trying to convince someone through emotional tactics, be direct and honest about what you need or expect. High-value men respect people who act transparently because they understand that true strength lies in open communication, not in power games. 4. Lack of ambition. For a high-value man, ambition isn't just a desire for success, but an expression of personal growth and purpose. Being surrounded by people without clear goals or interest in advancing in life can feel demotivating to them. High-value men seek connections with individuals who share their proactive mindset and are willing to challenge their own limits to achieve something greater. Consider someone who is always content with the bare minimum, never striving to improve in any aspect of their life, whether personal, professional, or emotional. While a high-value man can understand that everyone moves at their own pace, they will distance themselves if they see that this lack of ambition becomes a roadblock to progress. For them, being around motivated people helps them stay focused and continue advancing on their own path. If you want to cultivate a relationship with a high-value man, a great way to connect is by showing interest in your own development. This doesn't mean you need to achieve great things immediately, but rather make an effort to grow consistently. For example, you could start by reading inspiring books like Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, or setting small daily goals that bring you closer to your dreams. High-value men deeply admire those who work on themselves and strive to become the best version of what they can be. 5. Constant negativity. Constant negativity is like a repellent for high-value men. These individuals value a positive mindset and a resilient attitude when facing life's challenges. Being around someone who always focuses on the negative or constantly complains can drain a high-value man's energy, because they prefer relationships that inspire and promote a constructive outlook on life. An example of this might be a coworker who always finds a problem instead of a solution, or a friend who never stops talking about their failures without trying to change their situation. For a high-value man, this kind of attitude not only affects the relationship dynamic, but can also negatively influence their own mental peace. That's why they often avoid such people or set clear boundaries if they can't fully distance themselves. If you want to avoid being perceived as negative, a good practice is to focus on solutions rather than problems. For instance, instead of complaining about something not going as planned, analyze what you could do differently next time. High-value men admire those who can see the positive side of things and who, rather than complain, seek to learn and grow from their experiences. 6. Disrespect for personal boundaries. For a high-value man, personal boundaries are sacred. These aren't just a way to protect their mental peace, but also a means of establishing balanced and healthy relationships. When someone ignores or crosses these boundaries, whether physically or emotionally, high-value man perceives it as a sign of disrespect that they won't tolerate. They understand that clear boundaries are essential for preserving their individuality. Think of a friend who constantly invades your personal time, demanding attention at all hours, or a coworker who doesn't respect your physical space in the workplace. A high-value man, upon detecting these behaviors, doesn't stay silent. They set firm boundaries and, if necessary, distance themselves from such people. For them, respecting boundaries isn't just a sign of maturity, but also of consideration for others. To strengthen your own boundaries and improve your relationships, a useful tip is to learn to say no assertively. For example, if someone asks you for something you can't or don't want to do, respond clearly, but without aggression. I can't help you with that right now, but I can look into it with you later. High-value men greatly value those who know how to protect their time and energy without creating unnecessary conflict. 7. Lack of emotional intelligence. A high-value man deeply appreciates emotional maturity in the people they interact with. For them, the ability to manage one's emotions and understand others is essential in any meaningful interaction. A lack of emotional intelligence, such as impulsive reactions, an inability to listen, or a childish attitude toward problems becomes a barrier that immediately distances them. Imagine a situation where someone loses their temper over a trivial comment or refuses to accept constructive criticism. A high-value man who values calmness and self-control will see this as a sign of immaturity that they're not willing to tolerate. They prefer to surround themselves with people who know how to manage their emotions and face challenges with a reflective attitude rather than being dominated by impulses. If you want to cultivate emotional intelligence and improve your relationships, a practical exercise could be taking time to reflect before reacting. For instance, during a heated argument, try pausing for 5 seconds to process what you feel and respond calmly. High-value men respect those who can remain firm and composed in adversity because they know this skill is the foundation for building solid, lasting connections. 8. Superficial behavior. High-value men have a unique ability to look beyond appearances and focus on the essence of a person. They deeply value authenticity and character content, so superficial behavior focused on material things or external image comes across as unappealing to them. For them, meaningful relationships are built on depth, not what's visible on the surface. A common example of superficial behavior might be someone who constantly boasts about their material possessions, cars, designer clothes, or exotic vacations without contributing real value to a conversation. A high-value man sees this as a sign of insecurity rather than genuine success. Instead, they admire those who can be humble and direct their achievements toward positive impact, whether in their own life or in the lives of others. If you want to move away from superficiality and connect authentically with others, a good exercise would be practicing meaningful conversations. Rather than talking about what you have, focus on what you've learned or how you can help someone. High-value men greatly value the ability to share ideas and experiences that enrich the moment, because for them, a person's true brilliance lies in their mind and heart, not in what they wear. Final reflection. Now that you know the 8 red flags high-value men never ignore, it's time to reflect on how these signs might be present in your surroundings. Are there people in your life who constantly cross your boundaries or drain you emotionally with their negativity? Recognizing these attitudes will not only help you protect your well-being, but also allow you to surround yourself with more authentic and meaningful relationships. As a high-value man, the key is to stay firm in your values and prioritize your peace. Are you ready to apply this knowledge and transform your interactions? What steps will you take to identify and address these red flags in your daily life? We want to hear from you. Leave us your comments and share your experiences. And don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications to keep learning how to become the best version of yourself. We're here to join you on this journey of growth and self-discovery.